Hello, my friends. How are you all doing? It's William here at Allegory Gallery. I'm in my home office. Um, Andrew wanted to join in with us, but he is losing his voice. Um, so you've got me today. He might join in the comments. I don't know. He's working on some things right now. We have lots going on, lots of just tons going on at the moment. So how are you? How are you doing? It's been a wild day in many, many, many ways. We've had some hard news. We've had some joyous news. We've had a lot of stuff going on, and we're going to chat a little bit today. Mostly, I don't have much to show you right at the moment, but we have a lot of things on the cusp of being released, and we'll show you more of those as time goes on. But hello, Teresa. Thank you for joining in. If you're here, please say hello in the comments. Um, it's been a day. It's Andrew's birthday, and so we were trying to do a few different things for his birthday. Multiple things have fallen through. It's just been, if it weren't trying to be a birthday thing going on, it would almost be funny, but it's not. It is, and things happen, and we know that. But when you're like trying to have a big birthday, and things just keep. Multiple things have fallen through between things that we wanted to do together and things that we wanted to get for his birthday, but also we had, and I'm just going to talk about this really quickly because I cannot, start breaking down. We had a death of a dear friend. So that happened yesterday, and we found out about it yesterday. Such a hard thing. I had the chance to meet her a few times, luckily. And she was just a beautiful spirit and an insanely talented, creative person. And that's not without, she did a lot of great things, and it's hard. It's a hard thing, and I feel like we don't normally like to address these things too often. And she had some issues, and she was in the hospital for some of these issues, and she did not come out. So it's hard. It's a hard thing. And yeah, so that was a really hard start to, or a hard part of what was supposed to be a birthday weekend. And it's hard to feel festive or like celebrating when something like that happens. So Andrew and I, mostly a lot of Andrew has thrown himself into some work and some cleaning, and some organizing, I think, to kind of just work through that. And so it's been difficult. It's been a difficult birthday. I feel really bad. There's not much, anyone can do, except I'm trying to do my best to help us get products out there so that you all can hopefully grab them and, kind of celebrate his birthday if you can, by grabbing some of these things we're going to talk about today, and anything really. We're working on some tool buyouts, multiple tool buyouts. Some of them, the deadlines are coming up close, and we're not really there at the moment. So anything you can do will definitely help us. I'm trying to, I don't want it to be like, please buy stuff, but I'm also trying to do whatever we can to try to salvage some of the celebration for his birthday, and being able to do a tool buyout next week or the week after, depending on when he stops, would be an amazing thing to be able to, kind of find some little, a good spark in the birthday weekend celebration here and birthday day today. So let me say hi to everybody. I see a lot of people are joining us. Michelle is here. Thank you. Norma is here. Diane is here. Cheryl is with us. Janice has joined in, and Suzanne. Thank you all. Susan is here. Hello, everybody. So, yeah, it's been difficult, and more difficult. Andrew knew her much more than I did. She's a family friend, and just it's hard when you lose such a creative force in the world. And it's just hard. It's a shock. We knew her health wasn't the greatest, but we did not expect this at her age. So, okay, I'm going to move on, because that's hard. Not to make light, or we don't do that. But if I don't change my, I'm going to not make it through. So, Andrew's birthday and the 12th anniversary celebration continuing on for Allegory Gallery. Today, as many of you know who watch these lives, you know that we have been going full force lately, doing a lot of destashing, a lot of organizing. We're showing destashing lots of various names and nomenclatures on the lives, and we've been trying to show you some of the interesting, really cool things that we have. Hello, Anita. Thanks for joining in. The really cool stuff, Allegory Gallery, when we started, one of the things to us was to bring not only beads, but the best quality, the best assortment at the best prices to everybody. And, sometimes that means finding the different things, right? The things that you're not just going to find at any big box store. You're not just going to be able to go to any bead shop online and find that stuff. It's not going to, we want you to be able to come to us to get the goods, get the stuff that if you're going to a show or you're making jewelry for a market, it's going to be hard to replicate some of this by other people. You're going to have the stuff that people want because it's different. And so Andrew has been combing through. He was up all night last night. I was up till about 5 o'clock in the morning with him. I started at about 4:30 or so. I was like, I'm like drained. So we came home from the cottage. I got ready for bed and went to sleep, and I thought he was going to do the same. And then he got up and went back and started working on some projects and doing more destashing and cleaning. And I think it's that energy right now that he's working through. And so the whole time that we've been showing you all these destash things, and we've also in the background been creating treasure hunt boxes. And a lot of you know our special boxes. They're named different things different times for whatever they are. Sometimes they're a mystery box, sometimes they're we did a New Year's box. This is a treasure hunt box. These are true treasure hunt finds in here. So as he's going through and we're making destash lots, maybe it's something we only have one of. Maybe it's something we have 20 of. Maybe it's something that, maybe it's a little bit different, or, so we've, as much as we've been doing the destashes and putting interesting things in those, we've also been building these secret boxes behind the scenes and putting goodies in there. So There, you're going to find antique things in those boxes, vintage things. You might find some modern things. You might find some metal, some glass, some, strands, some baggies. So you never know what you're going to find in these. And he's been making little kind of collections of things as he goes, and little bags of collected things, and kind of like mini kits in a way. And so we have made these boxes. Sometimes our mystery boxes take a little bit of time to ship. These ones we're putting the finishing touches on them. They will be ready to go very soon. So there's not going to be a long wait on these. And the one of these, we're making a limited number of them. One of them, if you watched our live video about the metalsmithing basics, design, and soldering. In that video, Andrew talked about a pendant that he was going to be making, and we started making that pendant live with you, showing you how to solder pieces of that together. And Andrew's going to finish that pendant and include it in one of these mystery boxes. So that's in itself worth more than the price of these boxes. The boxes are $75 each. They have a flat rate shipping amount. I think it's $8.10 in the US. They are open to international orders. The international orders will go out at a priority shipping rate, whatever that is for your country. We don't determine that. That's the post office that determines that. And we can't change that. But we also don't make any money on that. We send out exactly that, what they charged us, and we pay exactly that on our end too. So we're not making money off of the shipping on these. Most of them will go out in a priority small box. If you are international, they may get repacked, because sometimes you can save a little bit of that international priority shipping, moving them into a different size box. But we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to ship them out all in the same box, so that we don't have to reopen anything once they're all sealed shut. Because what we do is, once that pendant is created, it's going to go in one of those boxes. We're going to seal them all shut. They get mixed up and jumbled around, and they get given to Barb. And from that point, Barb throws a label on them when you order it and ships them out the door. We don't look at them again inside. We don't reopen them up generally. Like I said, if you're international and you want one, and you want to grab one with that shipping, whatever that is, sometimes the international shipping will pick a smaller box, and so we may have to repack it for that. So we don't lose any money, because we are, like I said, we don't make a cent on the shipping on these. Generally, they are. It goes into a flat rate box. We charge you what we're charged, not what the post office charges. You save about $2 or $3 on shipping in the U.S. By going with us, because we get discounted rates. So we even give you that discount on the rate. So if they go internationally, we may have to rebox them to save ourselves a few dollars or more on our end. But that would be the only reason we would open these and do that. And we're going to tuck that pendant in there, so that hopefully as we're repacking, it's not obvious. Or if it is, we know, good luck. But generally, we are not going to know who gets that pendant. And if these do not sell out, which they usually do, but if they don't, there is always that chance that the pendant does not get to anybody. Because we don't know who would receive it, we don't even know if it's in a box that's still with us, or if it's already been sent out into the world. We do hope that if you get it, we hope you'll show us and tag us in it, and let us know, so that we know. And hopefully these all sell out for his birthday. And so I've posted something on Facebook so far. That's the only place that we've shared, that these are live. I wanted to share them all with you mostly first out here so that you had first dibs at getting them. We have 22 people watching right now. If everyone were to buy one, for example, they would sell out. That's how we wouldn't have one for everyone. So they are very limited. These are things that, we try to dazzle you and try to, put interesting things in there, things that you may not always find. And these are things that are not going to be in our online store. They are not generally in our physical store. Sometimes you might get one or two things that might cross over somewhere, but most of the contents of these boxes are truly from Andrew's collection that he is parting with to make these boxes. That's why they're limited in number. They're not all the same. Every single one of them is going to be different. They may have some similar components, and they may have some of the same components in 3 of the boxes, for example, but they're not all going to be the same. Every single one's different. If you bought 2 of them, you would have some similar things in there, and you may have some duplicates of some things, but you will also get things that are different. So I do hope that people will go out there and grab them. Like I said, let's try and make Andrew's birthday really nice. And one way of doing that is to help get this money for these tool buyouts. Andrew gets so excited when he gets to buy tools. Let me tell you right now, the excitement. If you don't know, imagine a kid on Christmas opening gifts. That's Andrew when he can buy tools. So if we can raise the funds to do that, we have about another week to try and make up the funds for this next big tool buyout, a week to a week and a half. Let's try and do it, y'all. Let's see what we can do. Please share this far and wide. And we really appreciate it. If you can't purchase one, we get it. They're not inexpensive, we know. And y'all have been buying and supporting us through a lot of these D-stashes and things. But if you can, I hope you'll grab one. I don't say this just because I want you to grab one. I think you'll be very happy with these. I think you'll enjoy the contents. And I've been thinking about maybe for those who get one, if we want to do some kind of make along together, or I don't know. I've been trying to think of some way to rally the people together who grab one, and maybe have some kind of design challenge where you have to make something from the stuff in the treasure hunt box or something like that. So if you get one and you're interested in getting together in some way and doing that, maybe we'll put together something. And we'll host some kind of make along just for those of you who got one, and then anybody else can watch. But we have had people on YouTube do unboxings of our boxes, and I would say you can go watch those and find those, but they're all different. Every single one's different, so it's not going to give you any kind of idea of what you might get in these, but it is a mix. And there's some really cool things in there. Andrew will usually work through the night, and I try to help him as late as I can before I start getting tired and have to rest for my next day to open the store and whatnot. But sometimes I'll go home and he'll stay there, and I'll come back the next day, and there are these baggies of just these amazing things. Like, I'm like, I didn't know we had these. I didn't know you had these. I don't know where these things are coming from. So there were some really cool things the other day. I'll just give you a little hint. Like, he found some pendants and charms and stuff that had to do with playing cards and dice, and kind of that casino Vegas kind of thing, which I thought were like so cool. I've not seen anything like that in at least in a very long time. And so I don't know where he had those hidden, but some of those got put into some of these boxes, and just strands of vintage, some vintage plastics are in there, and some vintage or antique seed bead tubes are in there, and metal components and stones, and baggies of mixed lampwork glass and furnace glass. And these are just some of the things that I've seen go into some of these boxes as we've been making them. And so there's a lot of good stuff. Generally, we always say you're getting at least double retail. So they're 75 US dollars. Generally, there's at least about $150 worth of value in there. You add that pendant to one of them, that surprise pendant, you're valuing out that pendant itself. It's hard to say. I have to see it when it's totally finished, but that pendant itself is probably worth double what the boxes are at least. So I hope you will go out and grab those if you can. Like I said, today's mostly a talking session, and we're gonna go over these things, and I don't think I have anything really to show you in front of me right now because everything's at work in process at the cottage. But if you have missed any of our lives, we did a few kits in amongst all of the different lots that we've been doing. The SC lots, the TB lots, the CK lots, the HL lots, I think that was a thing. The LL lots. There have been kits in amongst those. And if you weren't watching closely, you may have missed them. If you missed some of the shows, you may have missed them because we've been doing shows at all different times lately. Been doing shows live at 5, live at 9, live at 10. I feel like live at 7. I don't know. So I have taken photos of many of those kits and transferred them into the online store. So those are available now in the 12th anniversary collection. We are going to be adding so much more to the 12th anniversary collection. I know we keep saying that, and you're probably seeing a few things trickle in and out, and that's what's happening right now. But we are going to continue adding. We've been pulling things for that collection, and we'll get things out there. We added a magnificent bead blend, a luxury bead blend made of that pink and gray toned check glass goodness. If you didn't see it, I'm sorry you missed out because it's sold out. We added it about 2 in the morning, and that's the way this stuff is going. If we get enough of one thing throughout the cleaning process and the organizational process, and we think it would make a good kit or a good bead blend or a good product, and we have multiples of them generally, we're putting them in the 12th anniversary collection. So we found that, and both Andrew and I were like, this needs to go in. This is special enough to hit the 12th anniversary collection. And so we put that in there, and it sold out overnight. So thank you to all you out there who grabbed that. There were Saturn cut check glass beads in there. There were faceted rounds. There were drukes of different sizes, which are smooth rounds in check glass. So much goodness. Anyway, I should stop talking about them because if you missed out, I'm sorry you missed out. But I also have to hype it up a little bit because you got to keep an eye out, right? You got to keep an eye out. We will share things on our Facebook timeline. That's where we share most things. I'm trying to share some to the YouTube timeline as well for those of you who don't have Facebook, and our Instagram here and there. But Facebook is really where you're going to see most of the stuff first. We're going to be doing highlights of things on our, we do highlights in other places, but you're going to see most of it on Facebook. And I know that's hard for those of you who don't have it, but that's just kind of where we are. And that's where the biggest amount of people are. We will do highlights on some of the products on our email lists and text message lists. I'm going to be sending an email about these mystery boxes right following this broadcast. So I wanted to let you all know first. I put it out on Facebook real quick before this and just did a kind of quick drop so that you'd all have a link mostly to go to. But you can grab that right now. Sally says, missed the very beginning. Will the treasure boxes be shown? No, we never show them because everyone is different. We couldn't possibly show them to you. Everyone is different. And yeah, it's it's so much, they're so much fun. They're so much fun. So we can't really show them to you, but they're going to be filled to the brim. Like normally we have to like kind of be careful how we close them because there's usually so much stuff in them. So they will go out very shortly. Andrew just has to, we're giving him a little bit of time. It's his birthday. We're giving him a little bit of time, but he's going to finish that pendant and put that special pendant in one of those boxes as a very special extra gift for somebody who buys one of these, as long as they sell out. Like I said, if they don't sell out, there's a chance the pendant never gets out there. Because even we don't know after what box it goes in. Suzanne says, I really like the last two Halloween kits. I think we've come up with some nice kits. The Halloween kits for this year, I love them. I think that little ghost, the little white ghost kits is one of my favorites. So if you haven't grabbed that, check those out. There's the Halloween collection and there's the 12th anniversary collection. So that's what's going on. June is with us. Hello. Hello. Thank you for joining in. Lorraine has joined in. Carmen is here with us. Teresa says, that's so generous to include a special gift. Yeah, that pendant is, I think it's going to be nice. So that's going to be in there. I don't know if I said this already. Cheryl said this. I made sure to pick up one. Your mystery lots are always amazing and greatly appreciated. Thank you. I'm glad you like them. I'm glad you like them. Sally says, oh, I like surprises and your kids never disappoint. Happy birthday, Andrew. I'll be on the lookout for it. Yeah, the treasure hunt box in the online store right now. Just go to the allegorygallery.com, go up to the top. You just scroll down a little bit and you'll see the big, I put a big banner so you can't miss it. It says, it's a treasure hunt box. And you can get that there. They are packed in priority small boxes. If you don't know what this is, the size of a priority small box, think of VHS tape. That's generally, a lot of the times when we're shipping things, that's as big of a box as we need to go. So if you imagine how many things, little jewelry components, bead strands, check glass, metal components that you could cram into one of those, that's what we do. We fill those up. So it's like the size, a little bit, kind of size of a VHS tape. It's a little bit taller than it is wide like a VHS, but that's around the size. And they will be packed full of good stuff for you. So like I said, generally you're going to get at least double the retail amount inside. And I think they're awesome. I mean, I really do. There's some fun stuff in these ones. So, and we have never, I can't remember a time when we've sold these kind of boxes, whether they're a mystery box or a surprise box, or that people have ever written and said, I was disappointed with it. Like that generally doesn't happen because these are such, Andrew finds cool stuff from his stash to put in these generally all the time. Michelle says you will enjoy it if it's just like their mystery boxes. It's kind of the same thing. You know, sometimes for the mystery boxes, some of the mystery boxes sometimes have newer things in them. A lot of this stuff is vintage and antique and truly treasure hunt stuff. This is stuff that as he's been going through his stash, and like he has been combing box by box, bin by bin, drawer by drawer, to really, you know, he's really like, it's like a deep clean / organization that's going on. And so he's really going through, these are really treasure hunting. So I think you're going to enjoy them a lot. And so speaking again, I took most of the little kits that we've created and shown you during our live broadcasts. And now that we've invoiced for all that, generally, I think all the invoices are out for everything. We have now taken what remains of those kits and put them in the online store if any are available. I think there's one that I'm missing. It's kind of MIA at the moment. I think maybe we just need to put it together. I think we have the pieces and parts here. We just need to put it together because we sold the master one. So I have that one to get in there yet. But generally, those kits are in there. You are going to see more going into the 12th anniversary collection, especially over the next few days and the next week. Again, we're trying to do a tool buyout We have a deadline approaching, and with some things that have been going on here, there's been a little bit of, things happening. So we're further away from our goal than we want to be. So any help you can give will help us get there. We'd love to be able to have Andrew pack up the van and show you all the good stuff that he's brought back from a tool buyout when he comes back from Aramont in 2 weeks. We have this week, he's leaving next week, he'll be there all next week, and then he'll be back. So 2 to 3 weeks. We would love to be able to show you all the things that you helped us get from that tool buyout. So if you can, all of this is going to go toward that as much as we possibly can while still keeping operations going. It's been slow in the store today. I think we did $25 in the store today, and we had help in the store covering the store for today. So that's a negative day, which is a horrible thing to say, but that's the kind of thing we're up against right now. Is just it's not as easy right now. So any help you all can do by sharing, by purchasing, by letting people know, sending us, doing a review on Google, putting a review out on Facebook, and writing a kind statement and tagging us in it for your friends to see, that so people know that we're trustworthy. We are a small business. And big box stores, when people go to shop at them, they may complain about them, they may have problems with them, but people are generally going to trust in shopping there, if that makes any sense. So when you go to a big box store, you don't think twice about going in generally and purchasing something there. But when you come across a small business on Facebook, especially with all of the brands, we'll call them brands, coming out and from all over the world, selling cheap stuff, selling things that you don't know if you're ever going to see. When somebody comes across a small business anymore, it's a shame, but if they're not well aware of it, they don't always know if they can trust it. I've purchased a few things that I've had to go and call my credit card companies and be like, I never got this. I have communicated with them. They keep telling me it's on the way, or that they're sending another one, and you never get things, and it's scam stuff, And so if people don't know who we are, we have a long history. Andrew has even a longer history with the bead world than I do, and that the store does, but that doesn't always matter. If people don't know you, people don't know you. And our way of selling, our way of thinking about products is different. So when people go to our site and they see a random bunch of stuff, because we're pretty random, right? We have a gemstone collection, but it's pretty random. We have, people aren't always sure, is this like one of those conglomerate vendors? Are they just gathering things and selling them? Which we are gathering things and selling them, but we are painstakingly gathering them and hand curating them. And that's the distinction. A lot of these big stores now online opening overnight, they are just gathering stuff from other places and drop shipping, or combining things from other places and selling to you. And I mean, like I said, it's kind of what we do. We buy wholesale and we ship to you, but we are hand curating an experience for you. And if you don't know that, and you don't know who we are, then that hand curated experience may not make any sense, and it may look shady, right? Especially now when you're trigger shy sometimes, or gun shy, to pull the trigger on purchasing something online these days. So our philosophy about how we sell and the things that go into that are not the same as other bead stores. We don't just have racks and racks and strands hanging, and we're pushing the strand, and when it runs out, we're replacing it. And when it runs out, we're replacing it. We're not that. We are hand curating everything in small quantities, putting it together oftentimes in inspiration kits, or giving you demos on how you can use these particular things or things in your own stash. So I think we're a very different experience in shopping than a lot of other stores try to be. We try to get to know you. We try to create community around our things. I flat out heard people say that they are not trying to create a community; they are trying to sell things, and that's fine. But that's not what we do, and we're long-winded about stuff, and we go into great depths about things sometimes. Like, look how long I've been talking about this, for example. But we really care about what we do and the things that we put out into the world. It really, makes a tremendous difference to us to be this way, and we hope that it makes a difference to you. But going back to my original point, if you don't know all of that, we just look like another organization that is throwing stuff together and sending out into the world. If you don't watch our lives and you just come across our website, you don't know what we're about. And so using, reviews that you can post on Google or just on your Facebook timeline by talking about, a happy moment when you got something from us, or a happy exchange that you had with us, or the time maybe if you got something that you never thought you'd get, or you inquired and we found it in our stash just for you. Those are the kind of things that say a lot about what we do, and in my mind reflect us in some of the best ways. So that's what I mean when I say, like, you can tag us in posts, and yeah, you can tag us in a general post. You can share anything, and we love that. We love seeing your work. That's very important to us. How you're using the things that you get from us, but those heartfelt things that that you're not going to like go to a large chain or a super grand supplier, and you're not going to have that kind of experience. Those are the things that people like to read, and if you can tag us in those are so meaningful. And we know that not everyone can afford a treasure hunt box, for example, right now. But if you can talk us up, as they say, by sharing some good customer service experiences, or something you learned that you wouldn't have learned somewhere else, or a tender moment you had if you met us in person, or communicated with us, those are the kind of things that I think we would love to see more of out in the world. I know a lot of people, there so many people are willing to write a bad review about something, but you miss out a lot of times on writing those. I know I do. I know there are some that I should catch up on too. But we can't be more thankful for the awesome people that we have in this community. And we thank you for all of the ways that you help us grow and share and make this journey worthwhile together. Because right now, if I showed you this room, you see this is what you see. If I showed you this room, which you've probably seen glimpses already, but this room is an explosion of demos that we've tried to do for you and show you for free with no, a lot of demos that we do have there's no buying included in them. And it really is one of those things that, it's a little maddening to look around and see this sometimes, but it's also so amazing to know that we've put this into the world. Like, these are byproducts of sharing with you and creating this specialized time with you. Every day, almost every weekday at least, we create a moment in our day where we get to chat with you, and we're lucky enough that you're here to chat with us, and we appreciate that so much. I'm kind of rambling, but it's kind of that. I hope it's meaning something on that end. I hope it's coming out right. We just feel so super fortunate to be doing what we do and to create a life doing this. When I look at things, I'm a very I don't know if you want to call it future oriented. I'm also past oriented. It's very hard for me to be right in the present. I'm always trying to rush to the next thing. I was talking with Andrew the other day, and I said I realized, I'm watching some of these things on YouTube about. It's no fun, but like childhood trauma and the things that people work through. And many of you know that I came from an alcoholic family, and I've been trying to listen to things and kind of sort through things myself. And I realize that there are certain things for me that, like, I'm very future oriented. I'm always on the next thing, and I'm always rushing through what I'm doing to get to that because I'm already there in my brain. So if I'm working on a project, I'm already done with this part and I'm thinking about this part, but I'm not done with this part yet. I'm like physically have not given myself time for that. And the reason I say that is because when it's moments like this, when I'm talking with all of you. Sorry, my internet seems to, okay, I think I'm back. It's moments like this when I'm talking to all of you out there that that like I can't be in my head, right? I'm here with you all, and it's such a kind of meditative thing almost. Sometimes I do like it's like free association because I'm like in it almost, it's not a trance state, but it's like I'm in the present right now, which is odd for me. And when I can sit around and look around at all the things, like I'm looking at projects that Andrew's demoed and artwork that he has sitting here, and projects that are being started and getting ready to demo. And it's such a cool thing to think that we live this life and we have so many friends out there. And I can't even, like, I work for another job now, and I'm like, might be easier some days, maybe. And then I think about it and I'm like, if I had to go out and get another job right now, what could bring this to me? Like, what kind of job would I have to find to have so much, richness and the kind of experiences that we have and the ability to put creativity out into the world? They're few and far between. They're few and far between. So, as much as this life can be hard, and right now, I told you the store made less than $25 today. It's also on the other end. If I can forget about finances for like 3 seconds, I can see, and the finances are only because we have to live. That's it. We have to. But and it's a shame when you have to, base some things on things. We all do it though, right? That's why we work generally, unless you're lucky enough to be in a position where you don't have to do that. But we get to work doing what we love. There's still the pressure, but it's an amazing thing. And I thank you all for being part of that. Now let me go back because I know I'm missing some comments. Let's see. June has joined in. Sandra is here with us. Lorraine bought a Halloween kit. Thank you so much. Susie has joined in. Harry is here. Sorry if I'm saying names again. Michelle. Did you say that hubby is starting to get more? Hubby is just starting to get more work. Oh, good. Is that? I haven't seen news of the strike. I see people saying awesome news about the strike. So did something happen? I'm assuming something good happened. I have not seen. I have not been around the news in the last few days because of, everything that's been going on here. Let's see here. Michelle says, after this, my hubby got work in like an hour. Oh, so something did happen. Good. I'm so happy for you. We care about you all. Like, it's wild sometimes. The amount, when we hear you're having a hard time, it truly, when we say anytime we're sending good energy, like, if you believe in it, and I think a lot of you believe in energy, if you're following us, you very much probably do. And the whole idea of sending energy and, having to keep energy yourself. And anytime we send energy, it's not just saying that. Like, I truly believe in being able to send people good energy. And I do believe that in sending other people energy, you also lose a little bit of energy. There's an exchange that happens. And I think that exchange is necessary. You can't take all good, send all good energy and never experience the opposite end of that, right? There's a consequence for all of that. And so when we hear bad things happen to you all, or, things that make your day not so nice, when we say we're sending the energy, we truly, that we're giving a piece of ourselves. And even if it's just mentally, and even if you don't believe that, mentally, we have put the effort into sending that out, and knowing that in doing so, we are giving a little part of ourselves away, at least for a moment. And that's a part of ourselves that we don't take back until hopefully we hear some kind of resolution. And I don't know if they, again, maybe a little woo-woo for some people, I don't know, but that's what I believe. And I believe that when you give that energy out, you are giving of yourself. So, like, when I hurt my toe and I was having a really rough day with things, and I asked for some energy. I don't do that lightly. And because I believe that anybody who is sending me that good energy is losing a little good energy in their lives for at least a moment until I can, give it back. And I will say my toe went from me limping to being able to walk completely fine the next day. There's some soreness and some, like, I don't want to hit it again. But if you don't know, I hit my toe really hard and it turned black and blue, and I wasn't sure if it was broken or not. But I took that good energy that you all did. I thought about it. My toe felt better, and my mood the next day was, I can't tell you how much better that was. Still in the situation we were in, still having a hard time in store with the physical store and the things we're trying to do, but my mood was amazingly different. And I 100% believe it's because y'all sent me good energy. And many more people sent it than just watching this video, but I know a lot of you did here too, and I really appreciate that. So when we say, like, for example, Michelle, we're so happy that things are clearing up for you, that's not just like a talking point and then we move on. But I mean, we do talk and we do move on, but that is truly heartfelt. And in some ways, in some cases, when things break free, it's even to the point where it's like, whew, I can pull some of that energy back for myself and recharge that energy, right? You only have so much to give out before you are wiped out. And I believe that. You can't take and take. There's nothing really that I can think of in this world that you can take and take and take and not in some way have to give back, right? At least the world generally doesn't work that way. So when we give energy out and we send good energy to people, and allow them to kind of hold on to that like a little nugget for a while, that's energy we don't have. And like I said, a lot of you may not, I haven't seen the comments. You may be like, you are crazy, William. I don't know what you're talking about, but a little bit of insight into the way I believe things kind of are. So let's see if you're like, you are crazy. Because some people I know I've come up against people who don't believe. They're very pragmatic. They're very linear. They're very, they believe what they believe, and they do not believe in this energy thing at all. Michelle says, hopefully SAG follows shortly. I hope so. Sandra said, those things display trust. I think you're talking about the reviews and stuff. Yeah, reviews and tagging us about heartfelt moments or things that you got. And I know a lot of you post about things you make with our stuff, and we love that so much. It helps all the time. It helps all the time. Harry says, I try to post a positive about your story each day and show a new piece most days. Thank you. We know you do, and we appreciate it. I wish if, most of you who watch us regularly are most loyal, and I don't know what the word even is. It's you are just like the most supportive people we have, and we have a few in other groups and those kind of diehard fans, and we so appreciate it. And if we could get all 8,300 people or so who follow us on Facebook to do that every day, we would not have a trouble in the world, I think. And it is, I'm sure it's an unobtainable goal, but our goal is always to do as good of a job as we can for everybody that we service and everybody that we, put things out into the world to, that they will want to do that. And we're so happy that we have already forged some of those friendships and relationships. And we're going to keep trying. We're going to keep trying. Michelle says, I try to share something every day. I do see that some see the post. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I know I share a lot of stuff on my personal timeline about our store. And I have a lot of friends on Facebook. And not to shame anybody, because I get it, but a lot of my friends don't even comment or like the posts I make about the store. A lot of my close friends don't, and it's just not their world. But if I am one of those people that if you are starting a project or if you are doing something and you are my friend, I will do my best to put it out there and tell everybody about it. You could be selling, cat poop, and I will be out there being like, did you know you need cat poop? Because I didn't know I needed cat poop until my friend started selling this cat poop, and now I know I need cat poop. Like, that's a crazy, silly example, but we try and do everything we can to do that. And like I said, I'm not shaming people. People use Facebook for all different reasons and social media for all different reasons, and sharing is not always part of that. Sometimes it's just for them. Sometimes it's just to relate to people and family things or groups they're in. But anybody out there who's willing to share a small business's post and give them a good, review or a happy statement is, that's A+ in my book, because we all need it. I think all small businesses right now can really use that. Marion says, you do a lot of shares for a number of people, including me. Thank you. Oh, so that comment's for Harry. Yes, Harry does. Harry does. A lot of you out there do. Suzanne says, I like the fact that if I have a question about Provence, you answer as much as you know. I really love the history of a piece. Yes. And that is one of the things that I think amazes people the most when they come into our store. Whether you are involved in beads or have nothing to do with them, people, I think, are genuinely impressed when they come in and we say, oh, well, this was made in Nepal, or this was made here, and then it was sent over here to be finished, and then it was sent to us. And that is so important to us, because you go into a big box store, you're going to get what's on the tag, right? If it says made in China, made in India, made in Brazil, whatever it says, that's the information you get. That's about it. And so, to be able to find antique things and vintage things that you actually know where they came from and you know the story behind them. We know from 100% experience that you can sell a piece for more and you will get a better price. You will get a better chance of a sale if you can tell the people, oh, well, this is a vintage piece that I used in here, and it came from Western Germany. Can you believe Western Germany? When Germany was divided, this came out of there at this time. You know the kind of time period, you know where it came from. And for some people, that's just such an obscure thing, but it's a selling point. Um, you know, and people, again, 100% experience, we know people will take that information and they will use it as a moment of pride when they're wearing stuff. So they buy your pair of earrings that have something from Western Germany, for example, that's an antique. And when their friend compliments them on them, they're like, "Oh, thank you. I found out that this piece here it's an antique from Western Germany, and I got it from this vendor at this show." It's a chain, right? It's a complete chain. We get the information from our vendors. We make sure as much as we possibly can that we share that information with all of you. And then your customers and your friends and your family, whoever's wearing what you make, gets to share that information. And it pulls everybody into that piece meaning more, right? The supplies for us, they mean a lot when we know where they're from. Whenever you make something, that piece of jewelry now has more of a reason to be worn and appreciated. And that's something that I think is being lost personally, kind of in our modern world, where we are buying things from places that we don't know. We don't know where it came from. We don't know how it was made. We don't know who made it. We don't know hardly anything about a ton of the products we use. And to be able to kind of slow down and make sense of where things come from and just have the knowledge, I think is super important. So thank you, Suzanne, for bringing that up. I'm glad you enjoy that. We enjoy it too. And yeah, it's really important, I think, to know the provenance of things and how they were made and why they were made and what they were used for originally and where they come from. So yeah. Harry says, that is the best way to be a friend. Lift others does not cost anything. Not a thing. Not a thing to hit that share button. You're already on the timeline. Hitting share is just one more thing you're popping, unless you are super precise about what you're curating. And some people are, and those people might have the millions of followers, because they've done this curation. But I think there's always a way to boost your friends, boost the signal, and share because you care. Like, we say sharing is caring often, but like, if you really think about that, you are sharing because you honestly want these people to do well, or you want these things to get noticed. You want to have these people be able to continue their life and help you continue your life in the making realm, right? Sandra Sweet Pea says, you do so much good for your community. Some days are better than others, right? Yes. Some days are easier than others. Some days are better than others. Some days are worse than others. Some days are harder than others. There's a mix, and some seasons are better, some chapters are better, some chapters are great, um, and uh, the struggle I think that we have right now is that over the pandemic we grew. Um, we took chances, and we chose to not come out of that. Um, we chose to try to make the best of that situation. Let's say that. That's probably the easiest and the most concise way to say it. And so we chose to grow and do our best to grow. Not everybody could. Um, and we're feeling that now as inflation, goes up and things rarely come back down. But um, when I look at the grand scheme of things, even though things are very hard right now, I have to believe that we just have to reach, that point again. Um, we felt good enough to take those risks to grow. Now we're tightening the belts now because we're feeling it, but there is a joy at the end of this that comes with the possibilities of creating even more and expanding our knowledge and sharing. And Butcher Block Gallery, which is what we're hoping to do in Johnstown, is going to be a contemporary jewelry gallery, but it's also, the plans are to teach classes and to hopefully help the underprivileged youth in that area learn craft again and be able to have be able to have specialized sessions for that, and to really bolster the idea that crafts and making and creativity is really important in this world. It's not something that you do for fun as a hobby, though that's fine, but it is something that is integral and something that is insanely important to the human experience. I, for a very long time, didn't do a lot of things creatively. I've thought of myself as a numbers person. I thought of myself as somebody who, liked systems and organization over creativity. And I realize just in the last few years how much I did a disservice to myself by thinking like that and kind of following the trend of, you know, crafts and art is not as important, which is what schools are pretty much saying these days in a lot of cases. Um, and, I don't want to see a world where, in order to do something fun, in order to learn to paint or, take a class, it's so prohibitively expensive. Andrew and I grew up poor. That is not something that, like I did growing up. We couldn't afford it. But we were creative in other ways, and I lost that in some cases. And so we want to continue to come out of this kind of slow time by working our way through it, and you're all helping a lot, but pushing ourselves to be able to open these experiences up to even more people who truly, truly need it, who may not ever have this chance. And, we're not trying to say that we're so great. It's just that we firmly believe that everybody should have a chance to learn this stuff and to be able to express themselves in this way. This is why we call it allegory gallery, so that you could tell your own story through what you make and learn how to make. Okay, so Vanessa is with us. Hello, Vanessa. Oops, my comments just jumped and I have no idea how far I am. Let's see. Oh boy, I'm so far behind. Okay, let me try and catch up a little bit before I go on a long. Hopefully I don't get on too many more long-winded answers to things or relations to things that you're saying. Michelle says, I told my husband that. He said, when we get more work and money, we will be purchasing in the store. Thank you. We appreciate that. Anything y'all can do, we appreciate that. Hello, Donna says, hello on a dreary day. What a day, right? What a day to have a birthday. Andrew's having his birthday celebration, which is not so much a celebration as it's been a hard weekend and a hard start to the week. Michelle says, WGA is about done with the strike. Just need to finalize the paperwork. Oh, good. That's really good. That's really good. There's Andrew peeking in. How's your voice? Andrew lost his voice over. He says that he wasn't singing at the top of his lungs to his music at the cottage by himself, but I'm not so sure.
No, I think it's just the weather change.
You and Barnaby both.
And I think stress.
Yes.
And not sleeping.
Yes. Yeah.
And so there you go.
So happy birthday.
So now I sound like this. Happy birthday. I can sing myself a song and I won't even know it's me.
Right? Oh boy, you do sound. Better not talk too much over there. Barnaby, you should be comforting your golden daddy.
I should get some hot tea.
Yeah, I need to make you some. Marion says, loved your post for Andrew's birthday. Very touching. Thank you. I thought he needed a little bit of a pick-me-up.
You're a good egg.
I try to be. I'm not good all the time, but I try to be, especially when people need it. Mason is here. Aloha. So appreciative, celebrating my birthday in October with the magic of Allegory Gallery. Your special spirits never cease to amaze. Double rainbows from Oahu. Thank you. We appreciate that. That's so sweet. So sweet. Thank you, Mason. Lena says, I try to always send energy to help others. September is not the time I can do that. That's the time I need it. I hear that. Usually that's my power season. So I'm usually pretty okay, but it's also hard season.
This.
Oh boy. That's a hard one.
My friend Weasel made that.
This is our friend that passed away just yesterday. And she didn't have a lot of funds to support that way. She would buy things here and there. Every once in a while we get a little sell from her. She loved the D-Stash. If you saw, Andrew posted a note, if you're in our D-Stash group, that one of the original members passed away. That was her. And this is part from a show that she actually did with us in our very first location for Allegory Gallery. And she wanted to help out. And so she did a show with us of some of her artwork. And this is one of the pieces.
It was called Double Happiness.
Double Happiness was the name. And that hangs in our house now.
One of the saddest things, I don't mean to bring it down, but she was planning to get married and they couldn't get married because they would take away her health insurance. And so she was scared that she wouldn't be able to get her surgery
if she got married.
And so I was going to go out and help make stuff for the wedding. So
that's sad. That's very sad. Hello, Teresa. Thank you for joining in. Let's see here. Susan says, my beloved community radio station is about to implode, namely because of the lunacy of the executive director and board of director president. I saw something about a post that you made about them firing a bunch of people. I don't know that station, but I'm sorry that's happening. It's hard. We have a great radio station here that Andrew found while traveling to Pittsburgh and back. And we love it. We send some very small monthly donation to help keep them going because they are their members are what carry them and keep them going.
WYEP.
Yes, it's WYEP, 91.3 WYEP. You can listen to them on any smart speaker if you ask for that. So you can listen to it all over the world. And they have such great programming.
Some of it's wackadoodle.
Some of it's a little wackadoo. Some of it, but they have local bands. They have a bluegrass night on Sunday nights. They have some kind of funk night, which is really kind of cool. They have,
And they play new music even if it's not top 40.
yeah,
So like Natalie Merchant.
Natalie Merchant's newest album. They went crazy for that song. They were playing it all the time.
And where else are you going to hear that?
Yeah, she unfortunately hasn't been very big on the radio since the 90s. So you don't hear her music played on the radio, but they would play it often. And so just things, I don't know how many times when I hear a song, I go to their website because they list all the music they've played, and I go back and I screenshot the page so that I can capture that song because they have just such good programming. So
it's by people who really love music.
yeah, you can tell they love it. They love what they do.
So I'm not in love with all of their.
No.
There's one night that I don't know what he does, but it's like electro synth pop screaming.
Yeah,
like,
that's not our night, but they had a blues night the other night, and they were playing blues, and I don't know what that one woman does, what they consider.
Big Mama Thornton.
I don't know. Yeah, that kind of night. I don't know what that night is called, but it's kind of like a funk music, but also
she's funny. Too.
She's funny. I don't know. It's progressive and funky, and but yet like can be like almost like 30s or 40s music. I don't. It's such a good mix. It's such a good mix.
They have a 90s night also.
Do they? I missed that so far.
It's like 90s at 9 or something like that.
Nice. Okay, what else? Marion says it's magic way of focusing of the will, the same way prayer works. And yes, we do need to recharge. Yes, we do sometimes, right? Yes, we do. Susan says, I've always preferred radio to TV, and I've learned about so many musical genres through the dedicated DJs. So sad. It is sad. And it's sad when something local like that goes away. But you can listen to WYEP. Maybe you'll like some of that too, if you haven't before.
Who said that?
Susan.
Oh, Susan Surreal.
Mm-hmm.
I know you like music.
Yeah. WYEP throws out some gems often. Which is why we're happy to support them. But I'm sad that you're losing yours. It's amazing how you can have something that, people have built and it's been there for, years and years and years. And in today's society, it takes a few people to throw the whole thing into a different way of being. It's interesting. And I don't know. Mason says, love and light to you all from an island in the sea, thinking of Maui always and ever. Yes, they've had quite the time lately, right?
Oh, Mason.
Yeah.
Did you make anything with your labradorite?
Did you make anything, Mason? Susan says, it's so upsetting to have two lunatics destroy something beautiful in a few months after 36 years on the air. That's what I mean. You get, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard when you have an organization and all those big, they need boards and they need people to be on them. And
is it privately owned or public? Is it a nonprofit?
I don't know. She said there was a board and the president. I think you mentioned.
Are you a member of it, Susan?
Yeah. Can you be a member, or are you a member?
So if it's a members-run organization, you can actually file a lawsuit because they have fiduciary responsibilities to the maintaining of an organization. So if they take it, you can actually take legal action or reverse some of those decisions.
See, Andrew is learning all this by being on boards, right?
People don't know that, but it's true.
Yeah, who would know? I didn't know that. Harry says, we do recharge, but I believe the universe fills in when you share with good intent. The more you share, the greater the return is. I reach out daily to the universe and ask for that energy. It is real. That's good. Good to keep in mind. It's the only place I've heard French pop followed by Motorhead. Yeah, I know you. I would love if WYAP did French pop too, but they don't
I'm
do
sure
that.
they do.
They haven't yet that I've heard, but I don't listen all the time. Let's see.
It's probably like French pop at 5
right now.
in the
Marianne
morning.
says, sounds like that I might maybe hear. Sounds like a very eclectic station, and boo to the ones screwing it up, right? What's going on? I'm just scrolling through y'all talking to each other, which I love.
So what did you tell them? I missed the first hour.
What do you want me to recap? I told them about the treasure hunt boxes are out there. If any of you want to grab those, we went over all of that and what it's about.
Making them extra good.
Yeah, we're always looking. I said you've been the whole time we've been doing destashing, and you've been sorting for these little boxes in the background in secret and making all these
They're done.
baggies. And yeah, that's what I said. They're almost done. You have to finish this special pendant that's going in, and then they'll be packed up. But let me see here. Susan says, that is so true about big box stores, William. I guess they serve a purpose, but consciously I try to use them as little as possible. You know, we use them. They're there. Sometimes you need to, but it's a different experience. It's totally a different thing than what we try to do.
We try to shop small whenever we can, but sometimes, and especially in rural areas where mom and pop shops aren't around anymore.
Yeah.
You have to do what you have to do.
Right. People are saying happy birthday, happy birthday. Marion says, you sound so sad for a birthday boy.
Well, I'm sad and exhausted and
he's got all the emotions right now.
You know, I think it's one of those things where I was kind of in a funk before and I wasn't going to come on. And then I came in and I'm already feeling like I think I sound better.
You do. You're perking up. I know. You're perking up already. And you've not gotten to cuddle those kittens yet today very much.
No, I miss them.
I know. We've been so busy. They haven't gotten a lot of kisses.
In a good way, too. Oh, do you want to see the thing I made last night?
I do. I was like, did you do this in one night?
I messed it up, though.
You always say that, but then you fix it. He says, nah, I really did. Anita says, tons of hugs to Andrew. May your day be filled with blessings. Thank you. I'll pass that along if he didn't hear me. Let's see. Teresa says, I have 2 daughters with cystic fibrosis, and art, music, and dance help them get through their worst days. It's true. We need the arts. We need that.
So, I was talking about being blue the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made a blue pendant.
All blue.
And so I cracked one of the glass. And so I cracked it. And then I had to, it came off, luckily. And so then I riveted on a new one. And then another one came off while I was polishing it.
Oh boy.
It got caught up in the polish wheel. And so I had to rivet another one.
I see the rivets back here. And they look good though on the front. You wouldn't even know.
That's the plan.
Right? So
y'all know my dirty secrets.
Yeah. But no one else will know. Unless you tell everybody.
So there's vintage glass, there's kyanite.
I saw sapphire maybe?
There's turquoise, sapphire, Larimar, and yeah.
Collection of the blues. He's got the blues right now. Anne says, hello, I'm so sorry for the loss of your friend. Hello, Anne. Thank you for joining us.
We've lost a lot of people recently, and it's I don't always talk about it because sometimes it's not everybody, like some people are not on Facebook, and
Yeah.
some of it's not they want to keep, there's some people who want to keep private about stuff, and so we don't talk about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We're known for people just telling everything, but we don't actually.
No, we may look like we do tell a lot, but we also keep a lot guarded when it's, especially when it's, personal information,
That's not
and when
yours.
it's not ours to give. We try. Like, I didn't even name who it was because, it's not always mine to give. Marion, some of us like a wackadoodle. Good, because sometimes I probably sound like that.
The music.
Oh, the music.
Unless she's talking about something else.
I was talking about energy, and some people don't believe in the giving energy, taking energy, and I may sound like a crazy person.
Oh, I thought we were talking about that music and how there's wackadoodle music.
That could be too. Either way, whatever you meant. You never, right? You like wackadoodle sometimes. Lennis says, I love Radio Garden. It's an app. I have it too. I love it. Says, if you don't have a good local station, you can use it to support other local radio stations worldwide. Yeah, it's a good one. I listen to some French stations on that, and some places all over the world. Like, you can get radio stations. It's amazing. So Radio Garden is one. There are a few of those that I have. One, it's like radio, and it has like 18 O's. You have to get the right number of O's to find it, I guess, but it's also a good app too. Susan says, music and art have incredible powers. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Did you tell them?
Susan says, WYEP. I will definitely check it out. Yes, WYEP 91.3. When I ask who, starts with an S, ends in an I, to play it, I have to say, play 91.3 WYEP. And then she plays it. Or he
there's
plays
another
it.
91.3, but it's like Jamming for Jesus. So.
Yeah, and if you ask for just WYEP, for some reason she cannot figure out. You end up getting Wham or Yep, or you get weird things. So I put those two together and she'll play.
You can stream it from a desktop.
Mm-hmm.
Just go to their website.
And go to their website and stream it right from the phone too, wyep.org. Susie says, I was really sad when my favorite AM radio show caved in due to some sort of scandal, and then the host of the show died a short time later. It was weird and sad. Sometimes when people lose what they've got, they don't last long after that. It's like that with spouses. It's like that with jobs sometimes. It's sad. Susan says, it's a nonprofit, and yes, I'm a member. Lawsuits have been filed. Rumor has it that some religious group wants to buy that frequency. Horrifying. People get in. Some of those have a lot of money. I don't know. That's hard.
Maybe they can start something new.
Yeah, hopefully somebody can do something new, right?
The internet's a great democratizer.
It is. It is.
If we can have a podcast, so can your friends.
Right? Yeah, it would be nice if they could all get together and podcast that and monetize it in some way. Yeah,
I am of this opinion. There's so many people who think that once you have a system, that's the only way. And I'm like, we're makers of worlds infinite. I don't need to be held back by a system.
Yeah. Marion says, that makes sense. They can be held responsible. The suing, yes. Susan says, some church bought out a favorite indie movie cinema. I'll never go there again, as the pastor has banned any film with LGBTQIA plus actors, characters, and storylines.
Was that in Columbia, Missouri? I think
did you hear about? Oh, you went there? I was gonna say, did you hear about that, or did you?
Christina used to go to school there.
Mary says, I'm so sad I won't be able to get a treasure box. You can. It's just I know the shipping is crazy up to there, but they are international.
Because they're heavy.
But they're heavy, and They'll go a priority shipping, but I can't force it into a small box. So those may be repacked, depending on how much the difference is from a small box to what Shopify charges you all. But that would be the only case we'd repack them. But I know shipping for that for Canada and around the world, I know it's high, and we just can't afford right now to cover the shipping. Sometimes we're able to cover the shipping in these boxes, but with what we're putting in them and what we're charging for them already, we can't do that. And it's more fair to everybody, I guess. I don't know. It's hard when you live in a different country. I know, because there's a lot of stuff from other countries that I like.
You need a pack mule that has a U.S. address,
right?
And then they like go across and then like pick it up,
throw it across the border,
load up the car, and then ship it.
And says, I hope the year ahead is better. Yeah, I mean, I hope the end of this year gets a little bit better. But yeah, it's been a hard year for a lot of people, I think.
For the store?
For the store, for people. There have been deaths. There have been just a lot. Sicknesses. I just found out that my dad was in the hospital. He didn't tell anybody. He called 911 for himself, and he was in the hospital for like 4 days. And no one knew. No one knew. He doesn't always answer his phone, so it's not unusual that if we call or text, he wouldn't pick up right away. So, but I mean,
he doesn't have a cell phone, does he?
Yeah, he does. He has an iPhone, actually. One of my mom's old ones. He's not a tech person, so getting him to an iPhone, but he's adopted it really well. He uses emojis and everything now, which is, I never thought my dad would be using emojis. But yeah, he was in, so I found that out. I have other family who's been in the hospital recently again too. Luckily, knock on wood, things are okay. But they didn't find out what was wrong with my dad, so that's a whole other thing that we're concerned about. But he seems to be feeling better. Anyway, it's been rough. It's been rough. Michelle says, oh, wow, Andrew, gorgeous. Anita says, that's gorgeous. Susan says, OMG, that is incredible. What a beautiful piece, Andrew. Ann says, that's a gorgeous brooch. Beautiful, Andrew, says Norma. Marianne says, embrace the imperfection, Andrew. Lena says, that's lovely. Throat chakra.
I need it for today.
Susan says, wackadoodle is as cool as far as I'm concerned. Then again, I'm the one with a scarlet W on my forehead. So.
Huh? Oh.
Scarlet W for wackadoodle.
You getting Nathaniel Hawthorne style up in here.
Marion says, ooh, going to check into Radio Garden. Yeah, I always forget the name of it. I'm glad Lennis shared the name, because it's a good one. It's a good app. And it's free, I think.
So did you tell them about some of the things we wanted to do this year coming up?
Not yet. I don't think. Did I?
So we've kind of broken it down into 4 categories, but the one is for personal. So the overarching thing is we're going to set up the LLC, which is going to be the umbrella that covers our 3 businesses, so that if something happens, then we can be protected. Because right now it's set up as a sole proprietorship. So it's actually a kind of a big process, because it changes how we file taxes, and there's a lot that just goes into that switch over.
Yeah.
Plus it costs like $600
or more.
Well, I costed it already. It's $600.
Is that pulling? See, the thing is because we are what we are. A lot of things are crossing over, and splitting them up is not always easy.
Yeah, so that's one thing that we're going to work on. Another thing is, from a technical point of view, we're going to start doing some improvements at the cottage that really need to happen. One of them is reinforcing the second floor In theory, it shouldn't be as big of a job as what we were told. They
Yeah.
told us it should be $10,000 to fix that, but in reality, those boards are $100 a
Yeah,
piece.
their whole thing was it needed to be reinforced. We'd have to drill through the floor, cut through the floor, add cement slabs under the building to reinforce it. And we've talked to some other people, and they're like, no, you just need some good boards that are put together in a certain way, just span this distance. And while that sounds like I'm making like light of it, it's still a big thing.
$100 a board.
Yeah, they're expensive boards, but
And we need probably 35 boards
Yeah.
at least.
but it's probably less than half of what they were saying it was going to be.
Yeah, it's way less. I mean, in theory, if we did everything the way they said it and then, like, I don't know, paid them extra, then it would
Yeah.
be that much. But that will open up the space upstairs, and we'll have. Right now, we only use it very lightly, just
Yeah.
so that nothing happens.
For light storage.
Very light storage. I would love to get a little split system set up
Up there.
and get the kind of the insulation tacked up properly, and then put the cladding over that. I don't think we're going to do drywall up there because it doesn't really need it.
No.
So.
But then we can possibly move either the filming studio up there or
Barb up there.
Barb up there with the shipping department.
And then that way we can have your clay studio.
And clay studio can go downstairs. Yeah.
A little small little metal area that's for I don't know, for blacksmithing. If I get an induction forge, I could do little stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of get nervous because I was doing a blacksmithing thing and I started losing feeling in my fingertips. And so I was like,
That's no good.
I was like,
You cannot do that.
I'm like, I like this, but
it's not worth that.
But like I was like, maybe I should just like work out and then I won't have that problem.
Yeah, that's exercise is good too.
And then so one of the immediate things that we're gonna do is we got a small grant from Surf Plus, which we got the hood. I found one, a ventilation hood.
Mm-hmm.
I found one on the internet and
he's bargain dealing again.
I got for a fraction of the cost. Those things are $1,400. I don't know why, but they are.
Because they can be.
And I got it for I think like $100.
Yeah.
And then we bought a good induction fan. So the next thing we're gonna have to do is drill a hole in the wall, put an exterior vent, and a kind of a slot that we can close the hole for ventilation, and then put the fire resistant duct. So basically that metal ducting. I've seen people use plastic, but I get nervous that it's going to suck up something hot and then, then it like blows the fire everywhere.
Yeah, don't want that.
So we have the fan and we have the hood. We just need to get the duct, and we actually have the thing to drill the hole in the wall from
Although
when we had this.
We may need a bigger thing. I don't know how big that hole's supposed to
I think
be.
it's 3 inches.
Is that all? Okay.
So that's a mini split system size, right?
I think it was a 3-inch.
Or
I thought,
4-inch. I don't know.
Yeah. So
It's approximately the size of a Kumihimo disc.
That's much bigger.
Is it?
Yes.
Isn't that the way you
That's like
drill?
6 inches. No, we drilled a hole like this big.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How
So that's
come
why
the
I'm not
thing was
sure.
so big?
I'm not sure it's big enough. They weren't that big, really.
It doesn't have to be huge.
Yeah. The thing outside that you see has a sheathing around it, which makes it look big, but there's only like 3 pipes, so it really condenses. So the hole's small. That's, I think, I don't know if it's big enough for the ventilation hood attachment or not.
We can make it work.
Yeah. Converters. We did that for the stove too.
Yeah, so there's that. And then the other big thing that we're working on at the cottage
Painting.
is patching the what they call them?
Shakes.
The shakes that have gotten warped or are decomposing, and then painting. And I think if we get like paint, like a bucket of paint at a time. Oh, for my birthday, I got a spray gun.
Spray gun.
Happy birthday, me. I don't know if it actually would be good for that because it's like in a mason jar.
Oh,
So it's
probably not.
no.
Too little.
I mean, it works for enameling steel.
But the ones my dad used to use them for cars, and they were only like this big too, and did a whole car or whatever. I guess you just refill it, but
yeah. So we have an air compressor, so we just
yep.
there's that. So
it's gonna be for enameling, spray enameling.
Mm-hmm.
How fancy!
I know. I learned the secrets.
Right.
I just need a sandblaster, and I'm set for enameling on steel.
Nice. Michelle says, so it will be a new vent or refurbished. The vent is used, but we don't. The hood, the thing that's the big hood that sucks up the stuff, is used, slightly used. But the vent that we're putting through the wall will be all new.
And the fan is new, but we bought it.
Yeah.
So that'll only be like $100 more to finish that project off. So that's not a big.
No.
Expense.
It's just it's a lot of little things and some big things.
So that's at the cottage. So at the studio, or at a Butcher Block Gallery, we're launching in the spring. So my goal is to work on getting like $1,000 of inventory every month and launching the website immediately. And that way we can focus on a new artist every week or every month, and slowly build up whatever we don't sell as inventory and stock.
For in-store, for the jewelry, the contemporary jewelry gallery.
And we have two benches right now. And I have a lot of tools. So the immediate goal is we have to finish the tool buyout. And that's $3,600.
Coming up fast.
And that's in 1 week. And so we're working on that before I leave for Aramont. And so for personally, I'm going to Aramont, and then I'm also going to try to go to this thing called Pentaculum, which is an artist retreat that's happening this January. So I need to make money for my dorm room. And I can't sleep in the car, y'all.
No.
That's gonna be too cold. It gets cold in the mountains.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be over there hibernating with Smokey Bear. So that's for me personally. Here at the house, we have a lot of cosmetic things that we want to do, but that doesn't really, we're not fundraising for that.
No, but we also live off of what we get. So it's all bundled together when we have it's just the stupid stuff. It's like one of our kitchen sink keeps dripping, so we need to replace parts of that, and that takes time and energy because we try to do stuff ourselves and not hire people. Not that we don't trust them, it's just that it's cheaper.
It's expensive.
And we have one of the outside spigot. It has a turn off on the inside, but right now if you turn it on, it doesn't go back off. So we can't. That's one of the reasons our flower beds are suffering, because getting that changed out and not being able to use the outside water hose and the pressure washer outside and all that.
So the house looks dirty.
Yeah, the house looks dirty, and the flower beds looked what they look like. And so we need to replace the catio. Pieces of the catio are falling apart, so that has to be disassembled, and weatherproofed wood has to go in. And I don't know why it just did a thumbs down. I thought it was thumbs down. I'm not.
It is thumbs down when the thing is fallen through.
Yeah. So, and then the hurricane door going into the basement needs to be power washed, and it has paint chipping.
Repainted.
It needs to be power washed off and or sandblasted and then repainted.
You have to paint 2 shutters.
There,
It's so weird that they didn't paint those shutters.
I know there are 2 shutters on the side of our house, and every other one of and they're fake. They're just the fake shutters, but every one of them is painted except these 2, and they're like yellowed.
It looks so weird.
Yeah.
You're
So
like, what did they do?
yeah, so it's that kind of stuff, and we need to run the carpet cleaner through the house.
So there's a lot of just general maintenance that we have to do for the house.
Yeah.
We've been watching this show called Unsellable House.
Yeah, we've talked about that a little. We mentioned it in the Sharing is Caring. We were talking about these 2 women that host it, and if they weren't as good at their job because they can be annoying, we'd never watch the show. But
I wonder if that's like us.
I know, like, you just watch us because you
think that we're annoying.
Annoying if you don't. But we do a good job, so you bet you deal with us.
Our prices are cheap. So we're like, okay, I guess I can put up with their nonsense.
I don't think people would watch us for like an hour and 40 minutes here if they didn't like putting up with us. But yeah, so we've been watching that show, and it's amazing what they do to the house. And I'm like, that's not really a lot of money.
Well, one thing that we've been thinking about is possibly moving to Johnstown.
Yeah, that's all in the possibility of plans too. It's like we have plans for plans that we don't even have plans for yet.
Well, one of the reasons why is we can never probably afford a property here in Ligonier for a forever home for this shop.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're hemorrhaging money every month with the rent. And that could have gone towards a mortgage.
Yeah.
And for what we pay in our mortgage, we could have a very large building.
Mm-hmm. But that's the same with a lot of rents. If it were just easier for people to buy, at least in this country, because a lot of people pay a mortgage in their rent. And I know you all know that. But for years, we have paid the equivalent of a mortgage for our rent.
We paid over $150,000 in rent. So,
which around here is a nice house.
That's a building.
Yeah, it's a building. It's a house. It's property.
Not anymore.
Not
here.
Anymore. Well,
commercial properties here are 300 plus.
Really, yep. At least for what we need.
If it's smaller, they are converted from a house, but then.
And he's talking right in town because we got our cottage here too, but that was
not that much.
No.
Wow, now how much money
we've put a lot of money into it. Yeah.
It's probably up in the 120 now.
Lennis says, I am literally wiped out from the new floor like until next year, and it sucks not to buy Halloween stuff and buy less, almost no beads. I give you guys all I can. We get it. We appreciate it.
Yeah. You know that everybody's been like thunderstruck.
Yeah. We have not been able to buy, like, we try to buy art from people every once in a while, and you know,
that's our splurge.
That's our splurge. And we have not done that we've done it in little bits, but not like we like to do, especially coming around toward the holiday season here and trying to support people.
You got that Gertie painting.
I did get that Gertie sewing, that embroidery. That was cute. I did do that. I was happy we got that.
So little things.
Yeah.
But also, I'm getting to the point where we have a lot of stuff that I'm working through. So we're trying to make more usable space and have things be a little bit more functional. Mm-hmm. So that's a big priority for us in this year coming. We have so this is kind of like the highlights. Because there's like a subsector on top of subsector. And then we have some big plans for the website and for YouTube and for a lot of
big things. Plans for YouTube.
And so it all just takes money. So that's the thing is...
money and or time.
Money. It takes the money. Because that's what it is that So our 12-year anniversary campaign, all of the money is going to go towards that kind of funding.
All
of
that we
these.
can. Yeah.
And I've been working around the clock so that
To the point of losing his voice.
It's coming back now. I got healed by y'all. I don't know how long.
This is the last hurrah, I think,
I
for
also
today.
think that maybe it's because I wasn't talking, maybe. Because
That
you know how
happens,
sometimes
too.
if you don't talk.
Yeah.
I was talking to Barb and stuff, but, you know, I think also when you're like in the, I was underneath the vent fan and it dried me
Yeah.
out like a husk.
Plus, also, it's loud there sometimes. So you're talking, shouting to Barb because Barb's in the other room. And the music, you can never seem to get it quite right.
I know. It's that
It's
one.
echoey, but sometimes if it's too low, you can't hear it at all. If it goes up just too much, it's like a big echo. Yeah. We try. We try. We do our best.
That one is the willfully defiant.
Yes. It's an Alexa. And she is defiant sometimes.
To me, William, she listens to.
Not
I
always,
talk,
but
she act like she's like, no say, como. She's like, what did you say?
right. Yeah. So lots of big plans.
She's like, did you talk?
We have lots of big plans, and we're working on them all as usual. In whether it's in our heads or planning on how we're going to get there is mostly right now where we're at.
Well, we've been creating a budget, and that's a big step for us because normally we kind of just wing it. And if we have it, we have it. If we don't have it, we don't have it. So we're working in this like opposite upside down. What I'm learning on this board is you set a budget and then you fundraise to meet that budget. And so the goal is to do that and reach that goal so that we can fund these projects so that when it comes winter time, we'll be able to not have to stress so much about working and trying to do all this stuff.
Yeah. Lena says the gig economy is difficult. Everyone we know is on the hustle with multiple jobs. It's all about multiple income streams.
Yeah, that's us.
That's us. And isn't that great? Like, when you think about it, that's not sustainable.
Well, I think once we get going, it'll be way easier. It's just getting everything done. It's like we futzed around in the back room for a year, maybe 2 years.
I think it's been a year.
A year and a half.
Year and a half.
It's been a long time, y'all. And we just finally did it last week.
Yeah.
We didn't get to do everything because we have some pressing financial things that we have to do. So we haven't been able to do everything just yet, but it's better than it was.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what the feedback from the students will be.
When we actually get students.
There were students in there, right? Last night.
Yeah, but we don't have the 2 tables up yet in the actual student space set up.
Yeah. But I think like it's just in general a more comfortable space because it's more area to walk around.
It's bigger, it's less cramped. Right now,
fill it up.
We're gonna fill it back up, but right now it's working. And but our classes have been incredibly slow. So this week we had some people in multiple generations together, which was great. But lately there have been class days we've had no students too.
That's so weird.
I know.
But you know what? We used to do this every single year. So the beginning of September is always hard. I don't know what it is. It's always hard at the beginning of September.
We say it's a transition, kids going back to school. People just they're not in that. Like every year when kids go back to school, you know, it causes that change in people's lives. And until they get into a pattern of where they feel comfortable again and the sports schedules are happening and people know drop-offs and pickups and It's hard.
So we usually pick up like the middle of October, and then that will go through Christmas.
Mhm.
The biggest in theory on Small Business Saturday, and then it's slow for January, February, March, April, May.
May starts to be when it picks up. So we have
depending on the weather.
Right. But we generally have a full third of the year that is drudgery through the winter.
Yeah, and the thing is that
and we can't close the store. We could close the store, but we're still paying for it, whether we close it or not.
So the thing is that if we do all the things we're supposed to do and work as hard as possible, we try to pick up an extra holiday show this year. So we're gonna do Handmade Arcade. We got in.
Did we? Good.
I'm pretty sure we're going to a meeting on Tuesday, tomorrow, tomorrow day.
Tomorrow day.
So it'd be better because I'm not going to go to that meeting for nothing.
Right. Marianne says, good advice for all the projects. Oh boy, I'm really going to need a recharge. We all need recharges. Sandra says, I thought your classes were doing so good. They were great in the summer. We had multiple turnovers at the table. And then once kids went back to school, literally it just, for the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks, we've maybe had a student here and there, but not a full table again ever since. We did have a private class last night, which Jen come, and we have a class, of course, this weekend. But
we're next weekend.
Hmm?
The bee felting?
The bee felting class is next the
week.
5th, the Thursday. It's on Thursdays. So we have that. We have Fort Ligonier Days coming up.
Hopefully that's good.
I hope that's good because that's
Thursday. We generally don't do anything too special with it because we don't really put stuff on sale in the store. But I have a massive collection of costume jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why do I have this? And so I'm just going to liquidate the heck out of it.
Yeah.
And we wanted to do where we're going to have, again, William Briss Andrew. But if I'm there, I don't know how we're going to do that. So, but
I have, I lined up some of our helpers and friends to help out. So
I have to be there.
Jen will be there. Becca will be there. And they're all going to have little selling stations so they can sell some of their stuff too, because they teach and work with us on stuff. So that's we try and give them an extra little bonus to be able to sell their things during that festival. So they're going to have tables outside. We're going to have tables. We're going to do stuff. Andrew may not even have to come in, so we can do I was planning on trying to do the me versus him. I've won 2 years in a row so far. So we'll see. We'll see. But
I don't know if you're counting right.
I am definitely counting right.
I think it's rigged.
So if you don't know what we're talking about, during Fort Ligonier Days, Andrew a few years ago asked if he could raise as much money as I raise in store or beat me if he can not have to come down and do the store, because it's a lot of time on your feet, a lot of time away. So we do an online versus in-store little competition. Andrews puts all the stuff he can online to sell, and so anything that gets sold online during that period gets counted toward him, and then all the walk-ins and all the people in store are counted toward me, and we see who can beat each other.
If you help me, you help Barb keep a job.
Look at that. Look at that. Marianne says, oh, I hope you've gotten into Handmade Arcade. Michelle says, yes, good vibes for everything. I can't wait to help on spending in store again. Need different seed beads. Let us know. Lena says, I wish you great weather for Fort Days. Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be I'm making stuff for it this time. Last time I didn't make stuff.
Yeah, he just pulled what he could from what he had. Kind of destashing in some of his.
I don't remember what we did exactly last time.
You did some of your made pieces, and Like I know that Little Mermaid girl was in there, the one I like, that jointed one, and
That didn't sell though that
No.
time.
no,
Because I know where that went.
but that's the kind of
When
stuff
I
you were
bought
putting up.
gold, I got it. Oh, guess what? I found a gold coin.
Yeah, Andrew's been cleaning, and he found 1857
Mm-hmm.
gold dollar.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
It's tiny.
it's like this big, y'all. It's smaller than a dime,
It's so cute.
but we still have to test it to see if it's real. We think it is, but that is like a gold. It's gold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sweet PS, when is that? Fort Ligonier Days is the second weekend in October.
Was it October 14th?
It's like
15th,
12th,
16th?
13th, 14th, or something like that.
The first or the second full weekend.
Yeah, so I think it's the 13th, 14th, 15th, usually 12, 13, 14, 15, somewhere in there. It usually starts on the Thursday. They do sidewalk sales with the merchants. And
It'd be good if we sold food.
I know. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are the big days for the actual event.
I wonder if we could rent out our storefront for the weekend.
He's like, just rent it out. Who wants to rent it out?
I know.
Make our money.
We'll set up food booth.
Yeah, we could
my
do food in the
gosh.
backyard. What are they gonna do?
They would. Well, how do you get there? You have to follow the breadcrumbs.
Yeah, you can go open the hallway to the back.
No way. People would poop so much in thing.
No, you close that.
And what, lock it?
Yeah.
You know, that's a big thing. So I have never seen
If we
people
charge-
get so wild in the bathroom. People smeared stuff on the wall. I was like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
You just like reach down and be like, oh, guess what I'm gonna do?
There's a Barnaby tail, everybody.
Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna finger paint on the walls. I was horrified.
Yeah.
And somebody tried to flush a diaper. I was like, do you try to flush a diaper in your house? And I was like, these pipes is old.
Yeah.
That was our
And
first year.
first location, first year, we let people use the bathroom.
I cried. I literally cried.
And if y'all have heard Andrew's conversations about how he deals with poop,
Oh my gosh, I
he
cried.
can't even do
And
cat litter.
I had credit card fraud that weekend.
Yeah.
And it was
For a
planning
big-
retreat.
For a big retreat. You couldn't
And-
even book the hotel.
Luckily, they
Or the-
gave me time to pay the Airbnb because this is before Airbnb, but we rented a whole house for the students, and I got credit card fraud, and so they shut off all of my funds for everything.
While he's having to clean
And
poop.
I was
Finger
like-
painted poop off.
I was crying and gently weeping. That was a nightmare.
Yeah, that was a rough year. Talk about rough years.
Yeah, I don't want that again.
No.
I stay home.
So Andrew gets to stay home usually during 4 days. Suzanne says, someone tried to flush a wig down my grandma's toilet.
Why?
Yeah, like why do people do this? But
Did
you
they
know
get
what?
poop on it?
If people weren't so nasty, you could make a fortune renting out your toilet during 4 days.
I would not want to do that. I don't want that job.
You don't want the service on that one, but you could.
Would you supply a poop knife?
A poop knife.
Do y'all have poop knives? We don't. But we
No.
probably
Apparently
should.
that's a thing, a poop knife. Anyway, so that's some of the stuff that's coming up. That's why we're like busy. And
So we're adding more stuff to the 12-year anniversary campaign.
mhm,
Every day we're going to add something new.
Marianne said I'd be swearing loudly.
Oh, I did. I did. I got cursed out because I was cursing in the mouth. Somebody cursed at me for cursing. And they're like, there could be kids. I was like, who these kids?
Mind your business.
Who kids?
There
Who
are
kids?
there are 100,000 people in town. Someone's cursing,
Where are these children?
right?
Oh my gosh, 4 days. This woman she's no longer alive, but I think she had a stroke, and it was one of those ones where you just like start free associating. And so she started like hobbling over the trash can doing this weird dance. And then so she started telling the kids about private parts. I was like, oh heck no.
Yeah, she was explaining the whole anatomy system to people.
And I was like, nah, nah, nah. And she's like, they need to know. I was like, well, you can tell them on the street because you're not
Not
here.
in my store. Their parents can talk to them about that.
I was like, you look like you work here.
Right?
You can't be doing that. And she tried to sass me. I said, you got to get out on the streets. Get out here. I chased out an old lady who was probably having a stroke because
She was not having a stroke, but
she was doing something.
she
That
had
was not-
them. That was the issue.
That was not, that's the way that she was gyrating over that trash can.
Suzanne says, my friend had a lady pee in the cleaning bucket in his store. I believe it.
That's not that bad though.
That's still nasty. Nobody wants that.
If it's in a bucket, that's not on the floor.
He's like, at least it's on the floor.
Or
Michelle
on the
says, did you
wall.
say poop knife? I've never heard of it.
So apparently it's a thing where like people who know they if they know,
They go too big.
well, apparently there's like a knife. I was like, is it like a knife on a stick? Because you have to like really
long
get it.
stick.
You gotta get your hand up in there if it's like a regular like steak knife or something.
Yeah.
And so you like, chop it up like a blender and then it
Mhm.
makes it go down easy.
Yeah. Lena says, I think I need wine for all this poop talk. Yeah, we don't need to keep talking about the poop talk.
Well, it makes people watch, they love it.
Well, we have the fewest number of viewers right now than we've had the whole time.
Oh, I scared them off.
So I don't know how
Sorry.
much y'all love it, but
I thought y'all liked it. You requested it.
you requested it. So that's what's going on before my anxiety spirals. We're going to not talk about too much more.
Yeah, he doesn't do well with that. I like it because then I can mentally plan.
Yeah. But me, it's just, it all piles up. And I just think of everything all at once and how much it's going to cost and how much we don't have.
Well, I think about how much we have and then I think about ways of making it. So that's me.
Not two different minds, definitely. Which
I
is,
like my way better.
I would like your way too. I wish I had that choice.
Yeah, I love it.
I would love to be like, yeah, we get to spend more money that we don't have, but it's going to be exciting.
I love it.
And I'm just like, as I shiver in a corner
That's it. Here's another
and
topic.
cry.
That FinDom,
Right?
where they have the dominatrix that financially bankrupt people and they like it. I was like, I could do that, couldn't I, William?
Yes. Lena says, so more D-Stash, right?
Yeah.
You're going to see more
Yeah,
D-Stash.
we-
You're going to see lots of stuff coming
We
up.
already got the ones for this week.
Barb is back. She came back today. I shipped a bunch of packages before she came back to try and catch us up a little bit. And then,
He was there till 4:30.
as I said, I was there till 4:30 last night shipping packages so they could go out today. And I had already sorted them. It takes a long time to ship packages, y'all.
We got the labyrinthine.
But so I was that, and then Barb came in today and finished up some stuff. She spent all day there. She's coming in tomorrow, I think, again on our day that she normally isn't there, to keep going. We're probably filming tomorrow. I check with Jen in the mornings on that, so when it's closer, so she has her kids, because she has teenagers, and if you've had a teenager or experience with one, they don't always give you their schedule until the day of, usually. So I always check with Jen that morning, because I've checked in the morning with her, and by the afternoon she's like, oh, they just told me I have to do this now. So I don't even try to plan the filmings with Jen until the morning of, at least. So hopefully we'll be filming the Saturday morning tutorial tomorrow evening. And I don't know if she's planning a smaller version of what she did last week or if it's going to be something different. But Marian says, an interesting way to raise money, dominatrix.
I know, I would be so good at it.
Yeah, they have people on Twitter who sometimes that they take off their clothes. Sometimes they don't even do that. They like show their feet, and people pay them.
I was like, why the feet?
People pay them obscene amounts. They'll be like, I'm gonna go get lunch today, pay for my lunch, and they'll do a foot shot, and then people pay for their lunch. Or like someone I saw, they spent like $10,000. They're like, thank you for the $10,000
What?
over time. I'm like,
Huh?
who is getting
For
this
fee?
money for this stuff?
Huh?
Like, I ain't got a body part to show that people are going to give me $10,000
You do
for.
now.
He's like, you got feet? Barnaby, give Barnaby's feet. There you go. Everybody pay for that now. Send us money. Hit those stars on Facebook, right? There you go. There's your foot shot for that's a hanny shot. Anybody got the hanny?
You like,
Like
the
the
hand?
hannies?
You like the feet?
Right?
You gotta pay
Yeah.
the extra.
So it's insane. But I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. I'm like, go. Get that
However
money.
you do it
Right?
nowadays.
You're hurting hurting no one if everyone's in on it, right? That's how you want to spend your money. Go ahead, but I wish you'd buy beads too. We'll actually send you something for that money.
Sometimes they send stuff.
He's like, sometimes they send some stuff.
I don't know about that.
Sandra says, I have to run. Have a meeting at work with China at 8:30 tonight. Nice.
Wow.
Marianne says, fetish. Yes, it definitely
But
is
like,
a fetish.
I don't know. I guess I don't have that.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, ooh, show me that bubble.
I'm going to give you lots of money just to show it to me on the free internet today. Like,
Yeah, no.
I don't know, but like I said, more power to them.
Cats. I do look at a lot of cats.
You do. You do. If those cats said, send me $1, some of those cats you'd send $1.
Yeah, Apollon.
He's like, I would. Susan says, what? Maybe I could get an eccentric auntie for pay.
Oh my gosh, there is a 70-year-old woman who her shtick is she makes people clean her house.
Yeah, she forces them to clean her house.
And
she dominates them to
do
clean.
anything with them. I was like, how do I sign up for this? She just
yells at them and berates them, right?
I don't even think she hits them. There's one, she makes them, I guess her clients are repressed cisgender straight white males, and so she's this black lady, and so she makes them read black feminist literature
and pay her while they do it,
and she smokes up using, I forget what she does, but and she gets paid. She know you have to read. They read
to her.
I think she spanks them though.
Yeah.
But I could spank. I was
like, like, I have nothing against.
I was like, I will channel my mom. I said, she with the flip flop, it would be like I would be claiming my birthright.
Right. Oh, good night, Anita. Anita says, got to go to bed. Bedtime calling.
Yeah, they're like,
Michelle says, should we even ask what you're watching, Andrew?
The New York Times.
Right.
This was in the New York Times. I make this up. And you should be like William, because he's the one that actually looked it up. I didn't look up that.
Marianne says, if the kink is consensual, go for it, right? You never know what you're going to talk about here at Allegory Gallery. I start out with mindfulness and energy, and then you get into like kinks at the end. Poop time and findom and kinks at the end.
Well, one time I taught a workshop in Tucson, and so let's just say I told them to budget their money, and they didn't listen. And the first day, they went hog wild, and they were broke by day 2. Because I took them around and I introduced them to some vendors and stuff.
He shared some sources that time.
And so this is an old time, long time ago.
This is before the store, I think.
Land of Milk and Honey. This may be the one that could have been. That was in Asheville. But anyway, so this was the year before that. So
it was the year before the store. Just before the store.
Anyway, so they ran out of money real fast. And so one of our things that we did is we went to different thrift stores and we bought frames and stuff to make kind of mixed media artwork. And so while we were there, so the one of Charlene, she picked up these panties and they were like so huge. She's like, "Well, if I got this for my project," and then the other one popped up, and she's this prim little proper thing, and she's like, "I'm gonna sell those on the internet." And she's like, "I'm gonna be like those little Japanese girls that sell their underwear on the internet," and they
That was a thing back then.
it still
Probably
is
still a
apparently.
thing.
So they were like concocting. I was just overhearing this. The
And they're
meat
planning
lady,
out how to make some money.
they're like, "Okay, we come here in the morning. We're gonna clean up on this used panties." I was like, "Who's buying used panties?" They're like, "We'll buy them and we'll sell them on the internet."
They got bead money to make, right?
And I was like, "Are you actually gonna do that?" I think one of them bought some as a joke, and she ended up wrapping her because they were clean.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
No, they were
crusty or
for
something.
sale.
Which I was like, the underwears. Maybe if it's like fancy underwears, but that's like it wasn't. It did not look
Everybody
like.
needs underwear.
I know, but it was
Can't
not.
afford retail underwear.
It was not. It was like comparable to new, and I was like, wouldn't you just buy the new?
If the prices are the same, then go with new, right? Go with
I
new
would
underwear.
get the new one myself.
Unless you've got that kink, then it's okay.
I don't know, but she used that one, and it was like some vintage camisole or something, and she used that to wrap her beads in her luggage.
Yeah, that's good.
Uh,
Lena says, Andrew can't make fun of my reading material anymore with a laughing face. Marianne's rolling on the floor laughing. I don't know which part, but
they got some them 3 things and proboscises and stuff like that. She told me that. I said, "Do what? They done did?"
Susan says, miss the poop talk, I guess. Michelle says, ooh.
Proboscis or use underwear?
I think the ooh is probably for the used underwear.
You know what? Okay, so let me just tell you. There's this thing on Facebook. It's called Weird Things I Found or something. You know that site? It's a Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
Weird
Weird
stuff
secondhand finds or something.
Secondhand finds or whatever. And so they go there and they find, for one, their definition of weird is not, I'm like, apparently you're dating yourself because they're like, "Oh, this He-Man figure is so weird." Apparently you were grown up in the 80s.
Right, yeah.
Because this was not weird then.
No.
But some of the things
Sometimes
they
it's
put are weird. But some of the things are super cool.
Like that one we almost got at
that sculpture.
Yeah.
So that sculpture is normally like $1,000, and they just threw it in the trash.
Yeah. Because they thought it was ugly and no one would want it, so they threw it in the trash. And then they found out it was a famous artist around here, and it was worth $1,000 or more.
I went there.
We went to the trash and looked because they said it's not there anymore, but we still looked just to make sure.
So what they said,
we're like,
so I went back the second day too, and I asked around. I said, "Did you see that thing? Did you see that thing?
Did you really throw it out?"
And they said that somebody had taken a picture of it, but it was an old picture, and they sent it to their daughter, and the daughter posted it.
Yeah, so it was multi-days old.
So it was like
weeks or months old. Yeah.
Because I was about to jump on in.
Yeah. In the dumpster.
At the Goodwill.
For $1,000, who would not jump in a dumpster for $1,000? If you got $1,000 cash, I would jump in for $1,000 cash.
It depends what kind of dumpster.
I think $1,000. If it was a dumpster of all poop,
a hospital dumpster, I'm not doing it. No way.
No, but most general a Goodwill dumpster, I'll jump in there for $1,000 cash. Is it on the top
or is it in the bottom?
You wouldn't see it if it's on the bottom.
Because if I have to like dig and somebody release the Kraken, then I'm not interested.
For $1,000, as long as there aren't needles and it's gonna wash off, I could use an extra $1,000 in my bank account right now.
You didn't even have to show your feet.
Right? Now, if someone wants to give me $1,000 just to show my feet, I'll take the easy way out. I'll take a picture. But
Did you see that Bobby Burke? He went by
oh, you said he did.
His cover of his book. He's barefoot, and so
he's one of the Queer Eyes. If you don't know,
his book went viral, and he's like, "Why was my book go viral?" And
he knows what he did.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he was just like barefoot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think about that in my house. I'm barefoot.
Yeah, but you also just said the other day, don't show my pants or my feet in the video.
Well, I had gray sweatpants on, and
if you saw pictures of your feet on a book cover, you'd be like, eh.
Well, some people are more body positive.
I think he knew. He's in with all the gays and all the. He knows what he was doing.
Well, his book went viral because he put the feet pictures on it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, did it actually sell that, or did they just look at the internet pictures?
Yeah. Did you make money off of that is the question.
Now he's got his feet on everything. I said, I gotta have to pause this one. Put this one on snooze.
Snooze. Andrew is not a foot person at all. No. Michelle says, I remember when this was a big kink, when guys were buying women's underwear on the internet.
Wasn't there a movie where they were having some big burly dude wear these panties, and then they would like go on the bicycle and they would like ride on the bicycle?
I think there was. Now that you say that, I think there was
like a fight scene, and that this was like happening in one of the warehouses that they busted through.
I don't know that much, but that sounds familiar. Marion says, I would consider a vintage corset. Yeah, I could see that. Those are harder to find at a good price anymore, right?
Those are expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be careful, though.
Susan says, Michelle, that's a bit tame now, right? Just buying the underwear. That's so tame now.
Like some of those, there's...
Suzanne says, don't get me started on Goodwill dumpsters. Uh-oh. I don't know what that's about.
What happened?
Michelle says, I think many of us can use $1,000. Marianne says, a Goodwill dumpster? Maybe. Marianne says, I know I can, Michelle, right? Okay, Barnaby, my leg's falling asleep.
He makes himself dead weight.
Yeah, he does. And then you can't move. And I usually, because when he sits on my lap, I try not to tilt it down, like my legs down, but my hair's a little higher. And so I have to boost I'm constantly holding my feet up. Anyway, Barnaby, I love you. He looks all like I offended him now.
He looked at you.
I know. He's like, don't talk about me bad on the TV.
Let's see. Are we have to do like that one? What do they call that? Where they make the kids dance?
The kids dance. All right, everybody. What time is it?
We didn't make enough money. Send them kids out to dance.
I know. So we have if you're just tuning in, welcome to the Poop Talk Show and the Dumpster Dive channel. Multifaceted here.
It's my birthday.
He can talk about what he wants. Lennis says it's dinner time. Bye, y'all. See you, Lennis. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to close this up soon. We just wanted to come here to announce today that we put on treasure hunt boxes. Those are boxes that have lots and lots of goodies in them. Every box is different. No one is the same. They ship in priority small boxes. They are $75 plus shipping. And you can get them on our website while supplies last. One of those will have a very special pendant that Andrew was working on during the Metalsmithing Basics design and soldering episode that we did, the live that we did there. So that finished pendant is going to go in one of those boxes. They're going to be sealed up and they're going to all be shipped out, hopefully. So
a big piece of turquoise.
Yeah, that's a giant piece of turquoise. It's not just the little piece that we showed you. He's going to complete the piece he's talked about designing entirely, and that's going to be shipped out in one of those boxes. We have a number of kits that we have done on some of the lives you may have missed that I took pictures of and uploaded those to the online store in the 12th anniversary collection. So you can get those if you haven't already. We have the new 2023 Halloween kits. The old 2021, 2022 Halloween kits are still on sale in the Cell collection, so you can grab those there. And we talked about all our plans and all the good stuff, but we're not going to recap all of that because it would take as much time as it did to say it. everybody's like, Barnaby's absorbing all your bad energy. He's giving it good energy. I know he does that. He keeps me company. He's my buddy. He's a good buddy too. I have to say, he's my little bud. Anytime I'm around, he's generally wanting to be with me. But he's gone. He ran away now, so I can't show him to you or say hi. But you saw his tail earlier.
In his paws.
And his hands
Pay us
too.
money now.
Yeah, right. Pay for those paw pictures, those paw video. You got a paw video. Only paws. So yeah. So that's
subscribe.
Susan says happy birthday, Andrew.
Thanks.
And so we are gonna go and find something to eat. I think we have some momos that we're gonna eat tonight.
I don't think that's enough. That's like 2 bites each.
There are 10 for each of us if we do them all, and then we can do some rice maybe.
Did
or
you
something.
show my creature real quick?
This creature?
I'm gonna show that every day on the internet.
Every day. Did y'all see this? Andrew's finished seed beaded creature.
I might swap out some of its head though.
Doesn't like some of those leaves there.
No, because they're too heavy, so that they fall in the wrong way.
So there's that. In the video where we debut or we showed this, revealed, that's the word, we revealed this. You can put a comment if you would like to try to name this creature. Andrew's searching for a good name.
If I don't find it, I don't find it. That's like that guy who did the big sculpture at the Center for Metal Arts. He's like, yeah, sometimes you have to sit with it. And they're like, so what's like the timeline that you figure out the name? And he's like, I don't know. Sometimes you know, and it's right on the tip of your tongue. Sometimes it takes a year.
Sometimes it's untitled.
Sometimes you have to sit with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know.
Yeah. So thank you all so much for tuning in. We're going to go and figure out what we can eat.
You know what? It kind of looks like Beetlejuice from far away.
All right. And with that, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you for all of your support. Remember, those treasure hunt boxes are out there. If you'd like to grab one, that'll really help us out.
Yeah, I hope you all like them. We try and make them extra good.
Yeah. And have a great night, everybody. See you. Andrew should be here with you tomorrow, maybe, to do something. I'll be at my other job and probably filming with Jen for the Saturday morning tutorial. All right. Thanks so much. Have a good one, everybody.
See ya.
Bye now.